they want to keep certain information till they accept checks, they bank it, and till then also they would not present the layout, even the pricing part.
Today's market had become very problematic for end users.
Right.
If you see, when you see these videos being made viral, where the sales office there's lots of line, people are just giving blindly checks. The problem is that is not an experience where I want my family to go and buy home. They should want to understand where they are going. So a lot of speculation happens. The quality of buyer is not something who can hold beyond 1 year or 2 year horizon, and a lot of those projects eventually then their viability.
That's a very
becomes.
strong point. A lot of these not so strong developers who were just selling by creating larger incentives for brokers, they got wiped out. And they have not been able to enter the market because the way Noida Authority controls the land allocation over there, and Noida Authority, Greater Noida Authority, Yamuna Expressway Authority, their rules have become stringent. They are not allowing the previous defaulters to enter into the market again, which is what is actually maintaining the quality of developers in Noida. However, in Gurgaon, because it is a private acquisition, so I have seen even people who have failed in their previous avatars big time in any other market. They have come back again under the new brand, and they are again developing high-rise and luxury.
So that will compare what a typical payment plan difference can bring in your investment ROI. Typically, if you'll see between a 25/4 plan and when it's construction lane, when typically 50% of your money goes within 15 odd months, there's a huge difference in your ROI that you could just generate from that. Sunset, one can't even imagine. Sunset would be overlooking Karma Lakelands. Imagine sitting in your balcony having an evening tea or probably drinks with your friends.
But not in these ones. Like in these ones, you can't see anything.
Of course.
But yeah.
But probably for the 6-7 months during the monsoons, you would not have to go out, for a trip. Welcome to the inaugural episode of the Real Asset Podcast. I am Gaurav Gupta, and along with me is Arun Bansal. Together, we are starting this series of podcasts to provide you comprehensive analysis into what goes behind a project's details. Especially when so many projects are getting launched, what makes certain projects stand out, and we will handpick these particular projects based on our in-depth analysis, and that will be presenting it to you. What make these projects stand out and why we are recommending it to you.
So today we would want to understand the vision and the legacy of the Eldeco Group. Also understand this particular project where we are at, Fairway Reserve. Do a deep dive into the micro market of Sector 80, why it will become a vibrant ecosystem, and understand where today the Gurgaon and the NCR real estate market stand and where they are heading.
And today we have a very special guest, Manish Jaiswal. He's the CEO of Eldeco Group. He's an IIM Calcutta alumni, and he's done his BE from NSIT Delhi. He's been heading a company which has a very rich history of real estate development over 40 years. Welcome, Manish. We are very thrilled to have you with us today and to take us through the project and the company that is Eldeco.
So just so you guys know, Eldeco is also a listed company. They have two arms, listed and unlisted. The listed arm operates the real estates out of Lucknow, and all the non-Lucknow real estate comes under the unlisted arm.
So we'll try to understand from the beginning how Eldeco started and how your journey has been since then. Please, if you can put more light on that.
So Eldeco as a group is extremely old, probably as old as me. It's promoted by Bajaj family, and the family was basically from Agra. The group started operating in Agra, Kanpur, Lucknow some 35-40 years back, and consolidated its initial operations in Lucknow, which is when the Lucknow entity, which was the only entity at that time, it got listed on stock exchanges. Because the promoter family has, like they're very well educated and comes from the background with a lot of exposure to institutional funding and capital. From that time itself, the company got listed. In 1985, I think it was listed for the first time, which was very rare for any real estate company in those days. But after that, company kept on growing in different cities, and fast forward to 2024. Now the company is operational in some 25 cities. It has a very large portfolio. It has already delivered 200 plus projects. I think we feel proud to say that we are around 35,000 happy homeowners to whom we have already delivered the homes in various cities. The developments that have been done under Eldeco, the people who live in these developments, we get a chance, at least I get a chance when I travel to meet some of these people. And I've seen, people who have spent at least one generation in Eldeco development, and they feel so strongly about the kind of life that they have lived, that their kids have enjoyed in Eldeco development, that it has created a ripple effect for us, in which these old buyers who bought the apartment or a villa or a plot in one of the Eldeco townships earlier, they keep on buying from us in the new projects also that we launch. I think another very strong point, or I would say strength of the company, is that the company is backed by institutional capital. We enjoy very strong, very positive, and very old relationships, deep relationships with the institutions like HDFC Capital, ICICI, ASK, Tata Capital, JM Finance. So we have this big roster of institutional investors who have stood by us through thick and thin, and thankfully we have been able to keep them happy with our performance and the way we have carried the relationship with them, that even after 40 years of operation, they are our steadfast friends in all the developments that we do.
So this project Fairway Reserve, is this also backed by institutional capital, or is it at a group level?
Yeah, so this is also backed by HDFC Capital, and typically the DNA of the Eldeco system is that whenever we lock in any project, on day one we also do the financial closure with one of the financial institutional capital guys, so that we do not have to think about the delivery timeline or the delivery issues that may come up with any non-funded or scarcely funded project.
So de-risk the project.
We de-risk the project on day one, and that is the reason why we have been able to survive, I would say, for 35-40 years and continuously deliver even after so many years in a market which has so many examples in which new developers come up in an upcycle, and a lot of these developers, they die during the down cycle. I feel proud to say that in North India, other than us, it's probably only one developer who has been successfully surviving and thriving for last 35-40 years. It's DLF. So other than DLF, I can't think of any other name other than us who has been able to achieve this feat.
An interesting tidbit from my end also, like I realized that all the employees, most of them have been with Eldeco for a very long period. Like you talk to so many employees there, so that also says a lot about the company's culture also. That when people choose to work with the particular company for over 7, 10 years.
Mr. Parag, I was talking to, he's like 25
years with them.
Since Eldeco.
So that says a lot about company's DNA also.
Absolutely right. I think you're right. I think I am actually only 5 years old in the system, to be honest. But when I joined, and I have worked with a bunch of real estate organizations in North, I realized that I haven't seen any organization in which the employees have been able to consistently be with the group for so many years as they have been with Eldeco. In fact, I think 2 years back, there was one gentleman who got retired after 35 years of service in Eldeco Lucknow, and it was a matter of great pride for us, that someone who started with Eldeco in his first job, he also retired from Eldeco once he crossed the retirement age.
So it was very interesting to see that the current CEO of the group, Mr. Pankaj Bajaj, he's from SRCC and IIM Ahmedabad. With that in mind, like, could you tell the now vision where the group is heading?
So Mr. Bajaj is managing director and chairman of the group. He and his wife jointly promote the organization, and both of them come from very strong education background, which has been able to which has been instrumental in bringing the process-oriented approach inside the organization. If you see most of the real estate organizations, they typically end up focusing on a single city developments because they feel it's easy for them to manage the complexities that come with the development life cycle if they remain focused on a single city. However, in this case, because of their education, Mr. Bajaj, he felt that real estate, just like any other industry, B2C industry, is scalable to multiple cities as long as you can control the entire process by regular reporting. You can ensure the financial closure of projects on day one. If you can ensure that you can outsource things or the part of the development cycle which can be managed at the local level, and focus on controlling some of the part of the value chain which requires the senior management intervention. So he's very good at, I would say, delegation, and that has allowed him and Eldeco as an organization to grow to multiple cities as we see it today.
So it will still be primarily a North India operator.
Yeah, we are as of now primarily North India operator. I think we are present in some 25 cities, and nearly all the key cities of North India we have already delivered or in the process of delivering. But recently we did foray into the other part of the southern part of India by picking up a land parcel in Goa. So we have this luxury vacation home vertical called Terra Grande.
Terra Grande, correct.
In which we are doing luxury vacation homes in Kasauli, Rishikesh, and recently Goa has been added to that portfolio.
To tell our audience, these are villas that are selling at over 9 crore of cost. Yeah, so
these are launched.
These are already launched. They are selling. I think you got the approvals and everything. I think a few months back.
So we got the approvals. The construction is going on, and they are selling well consistently. The ticket sizes, they start from 7 crores, go up to even 18-20 crores in that ticket range. And you won't believe that most of the buyers who have bought these villas in Rishikesh and Kasauli from us are those buyers who had already invested or bought into Eldeco properties previously. So that's another feather in the cap, I would say, for the group, is that for selling something which is a high ticket size, which we did out of our comfort zone, we didn't have to go out to look for the buyers, and the existing customers / investors in the group were readily interested in picking something.
That definitely says a lot when the customers are repetitive, when they are again trusting you based on their delivery, and they are already happy with you. Otherwise, that doesn't happen in real. So let's shift gears to the star of the today's show, Eldeco Fairway Reserve. This is not any ordinary project, is it? First of all, congratulations on securing such a beautiful land parcel. I'm sure like our viewers would want to know what went behind in securing this land parcel in the auction that the HSIDC had done. And what went behind in conceptualizing such a stunning project, if you could put more light on that?
Sure. So see, auction is an auction. It's a government controlled process. There was a e-auction for this particular land parcel also, just like any other e-auction with RLDA or HSVP or DMRC. And we have a strength in picking up, because we have to pick up land parcels in so many cities. So we we have over the period of time developed the strength in picking up auction lands as well. For us, it is especially relevant because all our projects are institutional capital funded, and land that comes from government typically is a clean land. It has no DD issues, no access issues, and it's very easy to get approvals, etc. done, which gives a lot of comfort to our institutional capital partners. So that has allowed us to develop this strength in picking up land in auctions, and this particular land is also the one that we picked up, I think around little more than 1.5 years back. And we got lucky. At that time, the prices of the land were just going up. So we got lucky not just on the land acquisition price, we also got lucky in terms of the kind of views that the land enjoys. Though the views are something that are non-repeatable. I think if you can see this plan, which you have superimposed on the Google Earth map, you see there's an energy campus on one side. You see there's a large Karma Lakelands golf course on another side, and our particular site, it shares the boundary with both of these green developments, and it allows the entire project to enjoy the views which I don't think any other project in Gurgaon has, other than a very, very famous and reputed project on Golf Course Road.
Absolutely.
I have gotten excited about the project after a long time. Like last was probably we had worked on Max Estates, and after that, this is a project that is exciting us and for our investors also. I want to understand more, like if we could go more into the details of the project specifics, more onto the 8.34 acres that we are here and to discuss that. How did you come to that, and the density that it is providing, and if we could compare it with what is available in the market?
And also, if you could throw some light on the planning process which started,
Right.
like what mandate did you give to the architects and the development team?
So when we acquired the land parcels, all of us were ecstatic. We felt there is a potential to develop something here.
Sorry, did you feel that time? Did you feel it was expensive, or did you that time also knew that you had gotten a steal?
Well, whenever you buy land, it always feels expensive, and
I can
never
imagine.
feels cheap.
To just show the glimpses also, like around this 8.34 acres that they acquired from HSIDC was at around 19 crore per acre. And then when they also acquired another 3 odd acres, which is right in front of this site, Eldeco Group acquired it at 40 crore per acre. So that also shows your positive, optimism around this particular development and this sector. And also, yes, like you said, that land is always expensive when you go and get acquired them.
So what was the thought behind the development?
So when we started planning for it, everybody felt that there is no way possible that we can get hold of a land which is oriented in such a manner that it enjoys hundreds of acres of green view surrounding it. And the first thing that came to everybody's mind was, let's plan something that is one of a kind, that we also knew that we would not be able to repeat, and it should we should be able to use this as a platform for kind of re-entry, I would say, after so many years with a new project in Gurgaon, and it should become a statement project for us. You see, because we are spread across so many cities, we can afford to be in a market with 1 or 2 projects and keep on adding more projects in multiple other cities. So when we acquired this, the planning went with the mindset on maximizing views, and as you can see that the way they have planned, the way they have placed the towers here, none of the towers, they kind of block anyone's view, and each unit has a huge green view. Most of the units are 2 or 3 side open, 2 units to a floor, which is very rare. But something that is very close to our heart, and I would say it was extremely bold call at group's level, was we decided not to do a high density development by loading TDR, TOD, additional FAR on this particular project. Land is so expensive in Gurgaon these days that any development that comes up these days has to have 85 to 100 units per acre. And we took that call that since this is a project which we would never be able to repeat. Let's not go greedy on it. Let's create a landmark which people will remember Eldeco by. And we decided to do a development with just 38-40 units per acre by using the base FAR and not loading any additional FAR on it.
This is a very important aspect why we are also excited about this project. As you would be seeing on the screen also, the density that the other projects in the vicinity are providing, be it M3M Golf Hills, be it Ashiana Amara, be it Godrej Zenith, be it Conscience Park, all of these projects have a density which is upwards of closer to 80. Some have probably, if they are good, closer to 65 and all, but none of them is below 40. Another project which is in the vicinity, I also want to compare it with Sobha, which of course is one of a kind spectacular product, but it's at a preposterous price also that comes along with it. So how do you see it in comparison to the Sobha Aranya?
I think Sobha as a brand is phenomenal, and to be very honest with you, Aranya is a fantastic product.
Right.
When we studied it, I just loved it, and they happen to be inside Karma Lakelands while we are adjoining the Karma Lakelands. We are outside Karma Lakelands, but we share the boundary. So they have that definite strength which is with them. However, because of the orientation of the land, I think the way our units are designed, the views are much more phenomenal. As I said, simply, we got lucky in the orientation of the land. There is nothing we could have done or not done to get this. Sobha, while being good, as you rightly mentioned, the price is something which is at the higher end. I think density-wise, Sobha is in similar. Sobha is probably the only project other than us which is probably in the similar density range, around 35, 40 units per acre. I can't think of any other project which is in similar density range.
Absolutely. And very rarely it happens in real estate also that you would get such two comparable products with such a drastic price difference. Almost Eldeco comes in at 40 odd % or probably more at that. Of course, the only difference being at Karma Lakelands and this at the adjoining borders of it. But both of them enjoy the same view, the same low density, and same 2 core experience, which provides you enough sunlight both during sunset and sunrise.
Right.
Yeah.
So in our project, all the units are 2 core. I'm not too sure about Sobha. I've been told that some of the towers, especially the smaller units,
correct,
they are 3 core also.
Correct.
But in our project, it's all 2 core. In fact, the corner units are 3-side open, and if you see, non-corner units are also 2-side open. We have a huge central green with minimal vehicular movement.
Right.
Huge central green because it's just 15%, less than 15% covered area. Rest still all is open. In the open space, there's barely any vehicular movement because when the car comes in, there is a direct entry into the basement from the entry arrival plaza, which adds or enhances the living experience of these 38-40 families per acre who would be enjoying the project.
Plus, I also want to highlight our focus on the club amenities also. That is state of the art, 55,000 square feet of just the built up area. Plus, so many societies now that are coming on a much smaller land parcel than the internal green that this project has of almost 4.4 acres, something.
You mean the open green?
Open green area, correct.
I think open green is much larger because, as I said, only 15% is covered. Rest of it all is open green. But yeah, central garden along with the club area, the pool area, all of that combined would be, I would think, 4.5-5 acres. As far as club development is concerned, I can't think of many projects who have so many amenities. Like on the sports side, we have full basketball court, full tennis court. There's a squash court, indoor badminton court. There are multiple outdoor tennis tables, cricket pitch. There's a running and jogging track. There's something for every age group. There's a senior citizen adda, seating places. There's a pet park if you're a pet lover. There is for teens and pre-teens. There are separate kids play areas. There is an aqua play zone if you want to do exercising in the water. So
I love the fact that you had added an all-weather pool. Like that, I feel is very important.
Yeah, so it's not just all weather. It's basically a half Olympic length
Okay.
pool, 25 meters. It's a huge pool,
Yeah.
and it is separate from the kids pool, which is again on the side of it. And the thought was that when we are giving so many sports amenities on the pool side, also let's not do something which can take away from the experience. Now, anybody wants to train in swimming, it's a great pool. Anybody just wants to enjoy a lap or two, it's again a great pool. And something, as you said, because it's all weather, it can be enjoyed throughout the year.
Manish, I would want to understand how do you distinguish between a premium segment, luxury segment, and across your developments, across this life cycle, how things have changed, and where do you put this product?
So I think I would say this particular project would be in a premium luxury kind of a segment. I won't put it as a super luxury, to be very honest. Super luxury is what we are doing in Terra Grande, where we are doing just 2.5, maybe 2 villas per acre with private pool and a private garden, private parking area, overlooking some fantastic views of River Ganga in Rishikesh and I think Pinjore Lake in Kasauli. But this one particularly, I would say it's premium luxury. However, in our mindset, when we design the product, the luxury is not defined by the pricing. It's defined by the kind of living experience that we can provide, that we can create for our residents when the project gets delivered. And that mindset drives the design bit, the planning bit for the project, and that's what gets reflected also eventually. So in this particular project, I would say specification is a very small matter. 2 to a core is a very small matter. 11 feet floor to ceiling height. These are all smaller USP. The biggest USP is the view, which creates it as a luxury project in throughout. Like these are the views which are possibly forever for the customers. And another biggest USP is the low density. Imagine living in a project or in an environment where you only have 300 families, 320 families enjoying a 8.5, 9 acre development, versus a project which is typically a norm these days, where usually it is 85 units, 85 apartments per acre.
In Noida, I think in other places also, like even 150 has sort of started coming up, where the unit sizes are specifically smaller. So
you're right. Noida and Greater Noida have much higher density than this.
Yeah.
They crosses 100, and I think how Gurgaon is headed, probably we will start seeing projects like that. Already there are a few projects.
There are already.
If we would compare the newer launches, which are also coincidentally around this product, almost all of them have a density which is upwards of 80, close to 90 apartments per acre.
You're right. I was reading, I think there was a coverage about EMA's new launch on Golf Course Extension Road today. And there was a quote from the senior official of EMA, which said they have 522 units in 6.2 acres. That's close to 85, 90 units per apartments per acre. And you can call any project luxury, but then if it is just a marketing positioning versus a project which is designed to create that sense of space, sense of openness, sense of privacy, which can actually give you a feeling of luxury when you're living in it. That's what we are trying to achieve.
Absolutely, and that's what makes Fairway Reserve stand out also. And I think as this product gets discovered by more and more people, and that's where the potential and the appreciation will naturally follow.
I think discovery is a very relevant point that you raised. See, because Eldeco's marketing budget typically spread across 25-30 cities. So a buyer who's just focused on a particular city may not be able to see that much Eldeco versus a developer, whose all developments are focused in one particular city. Naturally, all the marketing budget for that particular developer would be focused on that particular city, and the buyer would be more exposed to the marketing of such developers who are very city-centric, city focused.
Should we expect to see a lot more Eldeco in NCR market like Gurgaon and Noida? What are your plans with
Well, I think so. We have acquired couple of more projects in Noida, which should get launched in next calendar year. In Gurgaon itself, in this particular project, we have next phase, which we think will launch in next calendar year. There is another land parcel which we just talked about right opposite it, which we have acquired at a much higher price, which again should get launched at the end of next financial year, I would say. And then there is something which we have acquired in Dwarka also. Again, a nice project that we acquired in auction from DDA.
Sorry, Dwarka or Dwarka Expressway?
Dwarka. In Delhi.
Okay.
So again, we got lucky that that particular land parcel has great superlative views, very open views of sports stadium and the green belt adjoining that sector.
So, can you tell me more about this micro market of Sector 80? Like, how do you see this coming up?
So, Sector 80, I would say, this particular sector is being developed by HSIDC, and because the government body is developing the entire sector. So I believe the planning and the overall look and feel of the development is going to be very, very nice. It will be maintained well, and you can already see the internal 30-meter roads and 18-meter roads which have come up, and they have come up very well.
Typically, sector roads are 24 meters and much smaller. So this one that also makes this particular sector stand out.
So our this particular project as well as the second one that will come here, both of those are 30-meter facing, which again is not the kind of size that you get in, as you rightly mentioned, in other sectors. There are other developers also who have come into this sector. They have acquired land from HSIDC. The credible names like Conscient, like Ashiana, like Trehan also.
Sobha, of course, is already here.
Sobha is in Karma, but yes, adjoining this sector itself. So the overall area is coming up very well. The Narangpur road on which the Sector 80 lies, it is already proposed to be in the master plans.
It's been proposed for so long. Like, do you think what's holding back? Like, Narangpur road redevelopment, I think, is long overdue.
So I've been told that the land acquisition has happened.
Okay.
However, don't hold me back on it. But even, I mean, it's still a state highway. It's being used by a lot of people to access Taudu and New area from NH8. It will become wider as this proposed road becomes 60 meter completely. But even now, if you want to go to NH8 from Sector 80, it will take you, I think, 2 or 3 minutes. And if you want to go to SPR, it won't take you more than 10 minutes. Absolutely. And most of the road, other than, I would say, 100 meters or 200 meters, it's all 60 meter or so, more than that.
Yeah, sometimes the sector roads on golf course extension and in Dwarka Expressway, they take you far more longer time. Here, you are on the NH in under less than 2 minutes, and then you're headed to your...
What is the flooding situation? Like, HSIDC would be developing the drains and everything?
Everything. The lighting, the drains, other road-related or landscaping-related activities, everything would be carried out by HSIDC.
And if you could enlighten me, what's the typical difference between HSVP and HSIDC working? If any insights on that?
So HSIDC, in my understanding, they focus a lot more on the industrial development. However, over the period of time, because the residential master plans have grown in size, so a lot of lands which belong to HSIDC, they have come in the residential areas.
Maybe rezoned
and they have come into residential areas. HSVP typically focuses more within the city in various cities of Haryana to do both commercial and the residential developments.
And this would come under Gurgaon itself?
Yeah, it's a Gurgaon Sector 80 location.
Got it.
Well, Arun is very positive on this sector, entire Sector 80, and he has his reasons. Why do you think Sector 80 could... he comes from Noida and he's seen the development there that typically authority does. And we all can agree probably Noida has a better infrastructure as compared to Gurgaon.
Absolutely.
And yeah.
Yeah, so absolutely. So that's one reason why I really liked the project was the development is being planned. So one problem which I always see in most of a lot of Gurgaon projects is the revenue roads, the land parcels are very odd shaped. Like you can clearly see that this was a farmland and is now being turned forcefully into a luxury or a high rise. While this entire sector 80 is a planned development, you can see the roads are structured. There's no nuisance of revenue roads or villages being crossed, and that's what I really like. And also the fact that uh, a lot of very established employment hubs are in very close vicinity. So I have a very close friend. He travels from Rohini to Manesar like every day. So he shows up to work at least 3 days. It takes for him like 2.5 hours on a good day to commute. For them, I clearly see that this is going to be a very amazing place to stay. Like, so anybody who's sort of planning to sort of work in Manesar area, or the new cyber city too, which is very strongly being proposed in the near the SPR. Hopefully we might see global city on ground, some effort with this new government they are pushing. So this is going to be what I feel is a very vibrant residential hub. And also the fact that the RRTS, which we see is sort of planning to sort of string the entire NCR region in a single necklace. So the Manesar RRTS station will be very close to this place,
development.
which
Absolutely.
basically means like this gets connected to every place. Like you want to go from sector 80 to Sarai Kale Khan to Ghaziabad to Panipat, everything would become very seamless. From here to airport wouldn't take more than like 30 minutes in a very predictable manner through RRTS.
Absolutely.
So
So
all valid points, and it's always good to hear if our investor is more well researched than us. But you're right. I think on the new development front, there are a bunch of things which are coming. Yesterday, I was talking to the team, and they showed me a small article which was about a new fortress which has come up recently,
In Manesar.
just 5 minutes from here.
Correct.
which place would that be? Like which sector?
It's in one of the Manesar sectors.
Manesar sectors.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's just 5 minutes from here, because from here you just connect to the NH8 in 2 minutes, and from there you just cross over to Mansar. So because the road infrastructure is so well laid out, airport or cyber city or SPR, new cyber city that you're talking about,
Correct.
again,
Yeah.
just few minutes from here.
Absolutely.
The accessibility is extremely good.
No, absolutely. And since the roads infrastructure, it doesn't get flooded also. That's another USP of this particular sector is like I have been coming here since the sector 79 has started. The waterlogging usually typically doesn't happen in this part of Gurgaon. And along with that, the social infrastructure, I think what this place probably is missing is another commercial that might come up with the, I believe M3M has a land here, which they are planning to. Apart from that, schools, hospitals are already here of New Gurgaon market, which a lot of, almost you get 4 to 5 options of schools for those who have kids, which are under typically 30 minutes of travel commute from here.
You're right, actually not even 30 minutes. I think it will take you 10 to 15 minutes to most of these malls which are in New Gurgaon, the hospitals that are there. And in fact, right at the entry of Norampur Road, which is just few minutes from here, there is also a very large commercial which is operational,
Correct.
and it also has cinema hall and everything. So
Right.
the social infra, I would say, is fairly well developed already, with good accessibility within 10 minute, 15-minute range. But I think it is continuously getting added up, because some of the developers have acquired some more land parcels, and they're also adding more land here.
Absolutely. So I believe these were the points. If you had to very quickly say what justifies the 15,500 pricing of this, very quickly on that.
Well, I feel it's much lower than what the project would eventually get, simply because the project design and the views are non-repeatable.
Absolutely.
But
the fact that it uses base FAR, you don't typically see that. Yeah.
low density, around barely 40 units per acre, is the biggest USP. And views, non-repeatable views, is forever views is, I would say, the second USP. And third USP is just 2 units to a floor with 11 feet floor to ceiling height. which is something that is not easily available. I mean, other than that, there are lot of other USPs which you have already talked about. We have discussed. These are fully loaded apartments with modular kitchen and VRV. On the specs front, there is a stone flooring in the living room and wooden flooring in the other bedrooms. So yeah.
Well, we believe that this project has the potential to reach 25,000 by possession, and we have our understanding why
And our
we do that.
research.
We have our research and growth triggers. What also what has changed around it is people always associate a product with the micro market. We can take the example of golf links. There is Aralias, Magnolias, Camellias, and all three of them have the same entry point, same developer, same views, still demand differentiated pricing points. DLF Park Place, DLF Crest, they in fact even share the border. One is trading at 32,000 per square feet today, and Crest goes for 51,000. So all product based on the nuances will capture different markets, and that's why we feel that not the entire sector 80 will be commanding 25,000 per square feet pricing. It's the Eldeco Fairway Reserve because of the points that
So Sobha will have their price point.
Absolutely,
and that
they
could
will
be
be
like
the benchmark of the sector.
50,000 in possession.
They could be
This, on contrast, like very easily could be 25,000, and other projects based on how they come up will have their own space.
Absolutely. The growth triggers you want to mention, like what do you feel, Arun? What would be the short-term and long-term growth triggers that this project could see?
Yeah. So first growth trigger which I see is the removal of inaugural. Like as soon as builder sort of covers up the initial sales target, the inaugural discount, which I believe is 1,500 rupees, that gets removed. That's one clear growth trigger. Another would be the auction of other land parcels in this sector, and they would so this is now a discovered sector, this discovered location, discovered view. So the new land parcels would go at a much higher cost. Okay, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody picks it up, Godrej picks it up for 50,000, 50 crore per acre, and that would also sort of establish the new entrants' price points. Ashiana would be a very good developer.
That's a very recent developer. I think they since they are listed, they've already mentioned they would be coming in next March.
Yes. Narangpur Road widening, I think that's a dream. I think not just for this sector, I think it's a very important lifeline for a lot of people. So as soon as the on-ground activation of Narangpur Road widening happens, that would be a very, very important factor. Another would be like, so surprisingly, DLF Privana is also one of our neighbors.
Absolutely.
Right?
How have we not talked about that already?
Yeah.
That we are in the vicinity of DLF township, we are in the vicinity.
Across energy.
Yeah, I think it's
absolutely.
under 10 minutes. Yeah. So
less than 6-7 minutes as of today. Probably in future it could take a little bit more time, but we are in the vicinity where DLF is bringing a massive build-up township. Just few months back, they sold 2,000 apartments over 7 CR. And they are planning to bring DLF Privana North at 25,000 per square feet. That's what we are hearing.
And the good thing is the sizes which we have in Eldeco are unique. So DLF won't be offering those sizes.
Absolutely.
So in this micro market, I think a lot of price like signaling would happen from there also. And also establishing of the social infrastructure. So yeah, as soon as the new phases of Privana and Sobha are launched, that will also give another boost.
Absolutely.
So I would not go about claiming what would the price at the time of possession, but I can definitely add one more trigger to the list of triggers that you have named. In next calendar year, we will definitely be coming out somewhere in the middle or around July, August. Another phase, the balance, I think around less
Augusta
than 80, 90 units or so that we would have left at a much higher price than where we would be at. And I think that will be a very big trigger for this particular project on a relatively shorter timeline.
Right.
Perfect. So these were some of the short-term triggers, and the phase 2 addition was very important. Also, I see there are some long-term triggers, like which I see would play out in the next 5 years. One, as I said, would be on-ground activity of RRTS. So that is going to be sort of major connectivity boost. Then like on-ground work of Cyber City 2 and Global City.
Yep.
Again, I'm not saying they will be built, But
at least
so
some-
these are like decade, like projects which will last for decades.
Correct.
But as
These
soon
are
as
massive
the
development-
massive
yeah,
developments,
yeah.
but as soon as the construction starts,
There
like
will be a big boost.
yeah,
To the
these are
entire-
very very huge employment hubs, not just for Gurgaon but entire North India.
right.
And we are in very very close proximity and very livable location from them. So
Absolutely.
those will be some long term boost. Also like completion of Privana, Sobha and all projects, as soon as that starts happening, that also sort of
The
makes it a lot more lucrative. And also the shifting of Khidki Dola toll, probably that should happen
Probably.
in a shorter term.
That's yeah. Let's hope so.
Yeah.
I think
But-
that's something that can happen now, or it could take another 20 years.
Yeah. But see, being an investor, like you have to be optimistic,
Yeah.
pragmatic, but optimistic.
Right.
So that's.
I think once construction starts coming up,
Yeah.
that will also add a lot to the overall confidence.
Yeah.
And see, my understanding is right now, because of all the launches by so many new developers and some old developers, there's too much marketing noise in the market.
Correct.
As this marketing noise settles and consumer eventually has time to think a little bit more and not getting driven by the mad FOMO kind of a rush that some developers try to create. I think it is a matter of time that people would start realizing that the projects in which the density is 85 to 90 apartments per acre, eventually those would come out like urban slums.
Absolutely.
And whatever marketing positioning is calling those projects today, or the FOMO that is being created around those projects today, it is going to settle down, and those would not be as livable as a customer would want to have.
And specifically in those ticket sizes.
Correct.
So
Correct.
Absolutely that, and in fact, even we had highlighted when you say that around the noise of a new project launch. In fact, very recently I had written about it also. There are big channel partners in this Gurgaon market also, and they have an entire force of people. Those who, if they choose to not work with a particular product, they will start circulating wrong informations and would make that product negative also. That is also in my experience that I've seen. So people should be very careful around what information they absorb. That has happened to many projects also.
Yeah.
You have to give time to understand, because this particular location, I see right across from here, we can see DLF Primus Towers.
No, you're
further.
absolutely right.
Yeah.
And it is,
People-
buying a house is basically like you would buy 2 or 3 properties in a life, maybe 4, right? And buying a house is an extremely big decision in anyone's life. And if you're just buying it for getting driven by the FOMO that is being
Right.
created by some of the channel partners or developers, instead of actually getting into the project and understanding what works for you, what doesn't, then eventually you're going to regret it at some point or the other. In our case, because we have such a strong corporate governance mechanisms set in the place, we were extremely clear that we will hit the market, we'll start talking about the project only after RERA is in place, which is unlike a lot of other developers.
That says a lot. That says a lot also about the company, how confident you are about the product. I cover so many projects, and I can tell you many people are scared. Many listed players, many big players, they want to keep certain information till they accept checks, they bank it. Until then also they would not present the layout, even the pricing point. And I find it very surprising that why they're doing, if they are not, and that because they are not probably confident about the product and they want to capture that FOMO related demand into these EOI
So,
numbers.
Gaurav, I'll tell you one more thing. Like today's market had become very problematic for end users.
Right.
So when you see these videos being made viral, where the sales office there's lots of line, people are just giving blindly checks. The problem is that is not an experience where I want my family to go and buy home. They should want to understand where they're going.
Right.
So a lot of it comes in very speculative money. So a lot of speculation happens. The quality of buyer is not something who can hold beyond 1 year or 2 year horizon, and a lot of those projects eventually then their viability
That's
issue
a very
becomes.
strong point that you just talked about, the quality of buyers.
Buyers.
Yeah.
If you're not showing the layouts to the buyer, if your approvals are not in place, if you are doing a development in which you have to, you're a first time developer and you have to go to 40-45 stories to complete the project, I think it's just matter of time that something has to give
Why
in, and
such a hurry?
something
Like a lot
wrong
of
has
these
to happen.
projects,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
थोड़ा सा वेट करो रेरा आने का, मतलब ऐसा नहीं है ना कि so they create this artificial FOMO, end user gets shied away. Like in those projects, it is that entire sales process, it is impossible for a end user to buy the product. So it only remains for a speculator, which they make their broker their advisor, जहाँ पे maximum
But
commission आ रहा
eventually
है.
these projects suffer because
Yeah.
if the buyer is not fully convinced and he has given a check of booking in FOMO, then when the collection demand is sent to him, they typically
There are
falter
many
in
cancellations that happen also
Cancellations
later.
happen,
Yeah.
and last I heard, I think day before yesterday, someone told me a project from a good brand on Golf Course Extension Road. They have started taking expression of interest in order to create a FOMO amongst their buyers for a unit which is going to cost upwards of 4 crores or so at just 50,000 rupees. Now, in what universe would a buyer who will give you 50,000 rupees check is an actual buyer for a unit which is costing 4.5 crores? I don't understand. And in our case, like, we were very clear, let's start once the RERA is there, let's show all the details, convince people on the strengths of the product, and take the booking amount of 7-8% instead of taking some ridiculous amount which does not create commitment at our level or the buyer level.
Well, kudos to you and the management for having that vision and having that conviction. Like, it absolutely makes you stand out from the rest.
So, Manish, could you tell me about what has been the trends in the sales so far? Like, who has been giving the EOIs? Who
What
are
the
these
kind of
people?
end users,
How are they
yeah.
coming?
So, we have a 3 BHK, a 4 BHK, and 4 BHK plus servant. These are the typical sizes. And the 4 BHK plus servant, we are seeing quite a few very strong investors coming in. Those are the kind of buyers who already are living in a very nice plush house. They have experienced the joy of living with the view of golf course.
And these are those 4 BHK which offer the 270-degree view. Yes. And I think there's only one wing of that, only 26 units, I believe.
Yeah,
only 26 units, and we are actually, I think we'll be closing the sales for that particular unit very soon in next 2 weeks or so max, because we have enough interest around that. As far as the 3 BHK is concerned, we have seen customers who are end users who felt that, in 3.5 crore, 3.4 crore ticket size range, they were not getting units which had good room sizes, great views, low density. It's like a steal for them.
Right.
They are extremely happy that, and we are extremely happy that we are able to provide their dream home to them.
Are they coming to see with families or like individuals?
It's mostly family visits, and they are coming. I've seen anybody who is closing, they are spending a good amount of time with our sales team, and at least 2 to 3 visits are happening before the actual closure.
In my experience also, all our client visits that I've seen, they have been mesmerized by the product. Like, they have absolutely loved the product. If they're not going ahead, it could be for whatever reasons, probably their price point or, the accessibility, their office being. But everyone has absolutely loved the product. So, yes.
What are the delivery times you're expecting?
So I think 4.5 years is what we have in mind for the delivery of both phase 1 and phase 2 combined. And because it's a low density development, we are doing barely 1.1 lakh per square feet per acre kind of a development, versus a high density development in which typical development is 2.6 lakh square feet per acre. So we feel that it's only 27 story building. It's very easy for us to develop in time. That we are
with my one construction as well.
It's
so
my
that's
one
also quicker
construction.
to do.
Yeah.
Gaurav, one thing I really liked was, since it's a low density
Density.
project, they only have to make one basement to have enough parking. And I hate parking in -2, -3.
Correct. It takes you a lot longer also, and it's more stingy.
It's not fun. It's not fun.
Most
Like,
of the residents, it's a big no. If
Yeah,
they have to
correct.
go to -2 or
There's no
-3.
option,
to
like,
buy.
Another USP, yeah.
However, in
even-
all the high density projects, you'd be surprised that
Minus-
-2
Of course.
and -3
they
are
can't
all.
help it because
most of the new projects, they have -3. So -1 also just feels more ventilated. They have made some sunken shafts,
Course,
etc.
Yeah, so we have
I
around
like that.
6 cutouts which we have created on ground
Yeah.
to give natural light and ventilation into the basement. We feel that it will help in reducing the carbon content within the basement, the carbon dioxide that is created because of the car exhaust and all.
Yeah.
That will be much lower as compared to other basements. On the sustainability front, we are also doing around 1.82 acres of Mother Earth on the periphery of the project. We are planting some 900 trees of 26 species to give a urban forest kind
if
of
the tree plantation of NSG and the Karma Lakelands wasn't enough, they are also planting 900 or more trees. So more oxygen for your lungs, which is so much required, particularly in this period of the year. Fantastic. It's very surprising that many people don't realize Eldeco has done around 200 plus projects in 25 odd cities. And this is sort of a re-entry for you in Gurgaon's market. Would also want to understand, because you deal with buyers from different micro markets, be it Noida, Panipat, Sonipat also. What makes the buyers or the customers of your Eldeco product in Gurgaon different from the rest of the cities? Any trends that you have seen so far?
Well, I think all buyers are looking for something unique
Right.
to buy, and they genuinely want to buy from a developer with whom they believe that the delivery is without any question. It will definitely happen. And I think there is a Eldeco promise under which we have delivered more than 200 projects in last 35-40 years, and that gets applied to this project automatically because of the brand. So I don't think there is any difference between the way customer thinks in different micro market. Yes, I think in Gurgaon, one difference that I feel is that there is just too much marketing noise, because you won't believe, yesterday I was sitting with someone from the industry and we were just talking about the new developers who have entered Gurgaon market. And then in this upcycle, some 30 plus new developers have entered Gurgaon micro market. Now, a new developer who has never made a building which is more than 20 story is doing a development with TDR, TOD, with a 40-45 story development and selling in the luxury segment. This is the norm in Gurgaon. Imagine what will happen to all these guys in the next down cycle. And the cycles change. You know, it's how the economics work. The cycle has to change. If it goes up, it comes down.
It has, correct.
And I was kind of surprised, both of us were thinking about it, that, you know, these are the things which typically bring bad name to our industry, where in upcycle, typically non-serious players, they get in. And it becomes more challenging for the serious players to basically keep maintaining that positivity around the development and the projects. So that kind of adds to our challenge as a serious developer or any other good brand who has been delivering for so many years. But that's how it is. And Gurgaon, this is an additional challenge because of the marketing that all these guys are doing.
Absolutely.
So this was a problem in Noida. Like, from what I've studied historically, the bad developers, they pay the best brokerages.
Absolutely.
Hence, the brokers are incentivized and they flock towards those projects. And sort of that makes the good projects, like where the end user will get maximum value, sort of become harder to push. But again, market cycles, like, there's one thing which is sure is market keeps on changing. And those sort of course correct everything.
I know of
Just to add to this, but there's a very, very unique point about the Noida market that we just raised. So in Noida, I think during the COVID and post RERA, post GST regime, post the down cycle which happened in the NBFC circles, a lot of these not so strong developers who were just selling by creating larger incentives for brokers, they got wiped out. And they have not been able to enter the market because the way Noida Authority controls the land allocation over there, and Noida Authority, Greater Noida Authority, Yamuna Expressway Authority. Their rules have become stringent. They are not allowing the previous defaulters to enter into the market again, which is what is actually maintaining the quality of developers in Noida. However, in Gurgaon, because it is a private acquisition,
Right.
so I have seen even people who have failed in their previous avatars big time in any other market. They
They're
have come back
rebranding
again
themselves, yeah.
under the new brand, and they
Yeah.
are again developing a high rise, a luxury. It's kind of funny, but
No,
it's
I
also
feel
sad.
this is where if you compile all this information and put it, I generally tell our investors also there's a builder premium to it. That it covers all the aspects of it that they will be able to deliver. See, conceptualizing is one thing and executing is another. This is a 4 to 5 year long journey, and a lot of things can go wrong, and it typically does. Probably we are also at that part of the cycle that probably in few years we never can pinpoint to it, but there will be that time, and that is when the builder premium, it's the peace of mind that you get when you pay that for a particular builder. So never that is the most underestimated thing that I see that people do not really consider in their buying decisions.
You are right.
One disclosure I wanted to give to our audience was, so me and Gaurav, we both are picking up one unit each. Now the difference between Gaurav and me is, so Gaurav is potentially planning to end use. I am purely coming in as an investor. I love Noida. I am staying there. So Manish, I wanted to understand as an investor, how friendly are you in terms of exit, in terms of like, are you happy if I as an investor make money?
So, because actually, if you're from Noida, you must have seen the other Noida projects that we have delivered. And I think, Touchwood, we feel very strongly and very happy about our investors who have made a lot of amount of returns on the investment they have made in our Noida project specifically, because you know that market, so I'm talking about it. I think people have doubled, or even they have made 2.5 to 3x also at times in various projects. It's also a lot of credit goes to the cycle also. The upcycle has made a lot of money. But I think a big reason for an investor to make money is investor gets exit from the end user. So like if you are buying, for you to get exit, you'll have to sell to someone like Gaurav, who's an end user. And a Gaurav or an end user would actually look at the developer profile, the uniqueness in the project. Once the marketing dust settles, all these things become very, very relevant. The design principles that have been followed, the layout, the views, the density, I would say again, the brand, all these things become very, very relevant. And I think as an investor, if you have chosen something which has so many unique propositions attached to it, there is no way possible that investor would not. Investor has to
as a
make
company,
money.
when do you allow exits? Like what is the exit process? What are the typically charges?
Our policy is after 25% is when we allow exit. In this particular project, for I think 24 months or 36 months, I don't exactly remember now offhand, is we do not have any transfer charges. It's only admin charges that you have to pay as an investor. So it becomes very investor friendly also. And on the payment plan front, if you just have to pay 25%, which happens in, let's say, 60 to 90 days. After that, there's a payment holiday of around 18 months, during which the towers would started coming up. We would have already launched the second phase at a higher price, and the second payment of 25% would come once we have crossed minimum 12 floors or so in our existing this launch.
So as an investor, I must say I loved your payment plan. Like, and
that is another.
And the good thing was, by the next payment, a lot of the growth triggers we listed, at least reasonably like 70% of them would have played out to some extent. So I would be able to sort of capture that value, de-risk the product. So I am very confident of making good money.
And coming back to
and
that,
also the fact like 2 years is a very good holding period is because
tax point
the tax point of view. Yeah. So I think I should get a very brilliant exit in 1.5 to 2 years.
So this plan is actually designed with the mindset that anybody who's as I said, we have a lot of repeat buyers within the Eldeco system who have purchased and made good money, good returns. They have enjoyed living in Eldeco colonies. The plan is also made to basically entice those customers who already know a lot about Eldeco brand. They love Eldeco brand. They should be able to buy it from. So we have bookings from Noida, Delhi, Panipat, Sonipat. We have bookings from Lucknow. You won't believe. And these are the buyers who have given their love and showered their affection through so many years to Eldeco, and we feel that the payment plan does justice to their investment.
Well, I would want to put that visual also that will compare what a typical payment plan difference can bring in your investment ROI. Typically, if you'll see between a 25/4 plan and when it's construction linked, when typically 50% of your money goes within 15 odd months, there's a huge difference in your ROI that you could just generate from that. And again, on the payment plan also, I feel that is where a company as established as Eldeco can even offer these, because you have financial institutions backing. Otherwise, these developers, those who are upcoming, they are also not in that position where they can offer such flexible
So
payment plans.
typically most payment plans you'll see would take 40% in the initial year, because definitely a lot of investment goes upfront.
Right.
But the fact is, like, I think you were generous because of the HDFC Capital backing, maybe.
So bunch of points. HDFC Capital obviously is the biggest ace up our sleeve in this project.
Yeah.
But also because we were lucky enough to get the land at a rate at the timing at which the rate was not extremely super high, and since we are only doing a low density development, the overall development cost for the project is genuinely much lower than a lot of other developers who are doing high density development. So these 3-4 points allow us to keep the payment plan relaxed, do not push our buyers and customers for unreasonable accelerated payment plans, and I guess
One can never sort of overemphasize the importance of having both sunrise and sunset view on every single unit.
Absolutely. In fact, before we wrap up also, in fact, we would want to disclaim all three of us who are sitting on the table, I believe, are picking a unit each. And let us discuss what are our decision point. What was that one key point that made us sold on that product? Starting from you, Manish.
So for me, although density is superb, point, but for me the biggest point was the views.
Absolutely.
I mean, I got floored. That kind of view I can't afford on Golf Course Road.
No, absolutely. Even I have been to Camellias, I have seen those views. Of course, can't even imagine to be living there. But yeah, this comes very close to that. The alignment of towers is such that it faces east. So the Hazeltine Towers are the prime spot where you would get the sunrise through the internal greens of close to 5 acres. And oh my God, sunset, one can't even imagine. Sunset would be overlooking Karma Lakelands. Imagine sitting in your balcony, having an evening tea or probably drinks with your friends.
Yeah, but not in these months. Like in these months, you can't see anything.
Of course.
But yeah.
But probably for the 6-7 months during the monsoons, you would not have to go out, for a trip. Your master bedroom's living room would be enough to get you those views.
So you'll be surprised to hear, there are people who have bought this and who have their own large bungalows in Delhi or Noida. They've bought this feeling that it's a great second home also.
Absolutely.
Because of views, and it's just phenomenal that people feel they won't get to enjoy these views otherwise so easily.
Absolutely.
In the city.
To compare what these views are, Karma has chalets that go for 50,000 rupees a night on rent when you book them through Airbnb for weekends. Yeah. So that's what we are talking about. That's the sort of views. Those who might not know what Karma Lakelands is must check it out. What are your views? Why are you picking a unit here, Arun?
So you had made me study Sobha.
Right.
Okay. That time I came to know about this area.
Correct.
Otherwise, this was a alien territory to me. And after that, when you brought this project to me, like it was a very quick decision, like very intuitive, because I could see the layout. It was going to be a planned development and not an isolated development.
Right.
So it will be a mini township. So I knew safety, security, social infrastructure would be well taken care of. Then the fact that this was an absolute unique land parcel, okay, that value, I think, it will only be discovered in next few years. So as more end users start discovering that value, again, so that is going to be a huge plus. Another thing which I put a huge premium on, almost to the extent that it's a binary for me, that the execution risk of a project has to be near zero, which I could trust Eldeco with. So like in next 4 or 5 year cycle, we might face the toughest of the tough times. But I know for a fact I could make paper money in next 3 months, 6 months. But that paper money gets converted to hard cash only if the project gets delivered.
Correct.
Okay. So for me, the fact that I could be very confident of Eldeco. So before making a decision, I got all MCA filings of Eldeco, all their sister concerns, everything. So I knew that there's no funny business. I went ahead and checked whether they deal in cash, how they are doing, all those things. So I could also, the fact that in last 35, 40 years, there's not a single project which got sort of
Stuck or derailed.
Yeah, so everything got delivered. So for me, there's a zero risk of the project not being delivered, and then the payment plan sort of made it all the more sweeter. The price was very comfortable. Like, so I see when I am looking at a project, I don't want it to be priced too high, but at the same time, I feel if a builder is not making money on the project,
there are much higher chances of them defaulting on
Yes.
their product. People don't realize
so
that.
the fact that builder is making, it's a profitable project for the builder also.
And
it
they have
makes
that
me-
cushion
Yeah,
to...
it makes me a lot more confident that the builder is also equally incentivized to deliver the project. And the fact that builder and me, we are partners. So builder has to make money, I have to make money. That's the only way. So for me, it was a very quick decision. Then it was just about picking which unit I prefer.
I must say your confidence in Eldeco brand is very humbling. We hope we keep delivering on the promises that we make.
Absolute.
So I saw that you had made some penthouses on the project also. Okay, so how's that? What was that thought? I think that's a very interesting testament
Unique
to kind of
proposition.
gentry also you're trying to sort of collate in the project. How's the experience so far? What was the thought like as a builder, like rather than creating smaller flats, selling penthouses? What's the experience there?
So there are very few penthouses, one on top of each tower. So we just have 8 penthouses in the phase 1. They're large units with double height living room, large deck in front, and an extremely large terrace on the top. Now, yes, these units are not for everybody, but I think they also come with the promise of phenomenal living experience. Imagine living with the views in your 2.5-story sky bungalow. The buyers who have, I think 3 have been sold as of now, and the buyers who have picked up, I think 2 out of those 3 are the guys again who are existing Eldeco clients. One of the buyers is actually from Panipat. You'll be surprised to know. And that guy, he has his Delhi home in Greater Kailash, and he felt, and I spoke to him myself, and we discussed the layout, and he went into everything. He actually went into Vastu also. And he, in his words, he said, Manish, I feel this is a phenomenal unit, because I was not able to buy on Golf Course Road. I wanted to buy something golf facing. I was not able to buy earlier, and now I'm getting, I think he bought a 7,200 square feet one at 13.5 crore. And he said that at this ticket price, I can't even buy an apartment which is golf facing on, like a simple apartment on Golf Course Road. He was very happy about it.
Fantastic. What a great conversation. I hope everyone has enjoyed this conversation. We have gone into the details of it. So do subscribe to our channel. And if you did like this video, do press a like and share it with your friends and colleagues. And go and first, if you're an end user, come and visit the site at Eldeco Sector 80 and understand why we are so positive on this product and see it for yourself. They have a model ready, and very soon they'll have a sample apartment ready as well. And come and explore one of a kind product that probably will not be coming into the market anytime soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.